Hello and welcome back to this tutorial series on using Spaza Commerce for your online store. In this video, we're actually going to be looking at the store theme section in the admin control panel. It's actually one of my favorite episodes to record. I just love looking at the themes and changing colors and fonts. So we're going to get stuck into that in this episode. As always, if you haven't signed in, definitely head over to www.spaza.co, select the store that you'd like to work on, and we can dive right in. In case you haven't seen our other videos yet, definitely go check those out just so that you're up to speed with everything that we've done so far in setting up our online store. But yeah, let's dive into the store theme section. So all you need to do is just click on that link in the navigation drawer and you'll be taken through to the design section. So straight away after landing on the screen, you'll see you have two options to choose from: your colors and your fonts. To start off, we're just going to be discussing the colors really quickly, and you'll see there you have the option to choose a primary color, secondary color, background color, and a thing called surfaces color. So just to run through what these actually are really quickly, I'm not too sure if you can see on the screen right now, but the surfaces color is actually a little bit darker than the background color. So just to make this a bit more obvious, I'm actually going to choose a different color for the surfaces really quick. So to do that, all we do is just click on this button. We'll then be presented with a color palette, and let's just choose something that we're going to see quite easily. Let's just actually choose like a bit of a weird green color for that. I know this doesn't really go very well, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So you can see they all four are actually quite different. So I'm just going to set that, hit save, and then head on over to our store itself just to see where these different colors actually come through. So as you remember, to do that, you're just going to click on visit your store. I've actually got it open here already on this tab. And now because I've changed the colors, I'm just going to refresh this page. And let's see where these colors actually come out. So as you can see there, now that the page is loaded, maybe that green wasn't the best choice, but it is going to give us a chance to see where the different colors actually do affect different sections on the site. So let's just go back to the admin control panel really quick. So primary and secondary colors. You can see there the primary colors are going to be coming through on things like the buttons, the navigation, text links. If we go to the cart little drawer really quick, you'll see there the primary colors coming through there. And let's see if we can find out somewhere else. Let's go to an actual product itself. There you can see it's actually coming through in the breadcrumb navigation, as well as the buttons in here and the highlight text around, or the highlight box, sorry, around this thumbnail. So that's your primary. The secondary colors you can see are being used on like the tags, as well as here on the price indicator box. You can see it there in the top as well for the phone number, and if we scroll down, you can see it's being used underneath the main footer section at the bottom over there. So that's the primary and secondary colors. If we then go back to the admin control panel, we can see we also have background color and surfaces color. As I'm sure you figured out, this light color over here is the background, and then everywhere we're seeing this terrible green is actually a surface. So the surfaces are the elements that then sit directly on top of the main background. So things like the main footer area, this floating box here, the box that contains your images, for example, and the main navigation will all be surfaces. So I'm actually just going to go and change these colors to something that makes a little bit more sense, maybe something that could line up a bit better with the other content that we already have. You can see it's very, we got a lot of tones of brown and like black and white. The guitar's fretboard is also brown as well. So let's see if we can figure out something to make the store look a bit better. So let's click on primary color. This will be for our buttons. Let's make this a sort of dark brown. Our secondary color, let's make this maybe, let's just think of like maybe a lighter brown. I'm not too sure. I'm just kind of choosing these things so we can see what it looks like. Let's leave the background color on a nice light color, and the surfaces color, let's change this to maybe, let's see what, actually maybe orange could look interesting. Let's hit save and let's see what that looks like. Instantly we can just refresh our store on the front end, and we can see, okay, those colors have been taken. Now this orange is obviously a very, very terrible color for that section. So let's change maybe that orange to a lighter color, maybe just off the background as well, maybe something like that. Let's hit save and let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we're actually starting to kind of create something that looks a little bit better. In fact, one last change, I'm actually going to make the surfaces color lighter than the background. So let's pump up the color on the surfaces and make the background color a sort of gray. Let's see what effect that would have. That looks pretty interesting. So, okay, so let's just leave it like that for now. We can obviously come in and play around and change these colors. I just wanted to demonstrate really quickly that the changes that you make will obviously be instant. And the only other thing we need to look at now is the fonts. So very, very straightforward, very much like we change the colors, we can change the fonts. And as we change them, the effects will be immediate. So primary font and secondary fonts. So the best way to see the difference between the two is let's make them very, very different. So we're going to keep the primary font as a sans serif font, so you can see that also updated for us so we can get a preview of what that looks like. And let's change the secondary font to something completely different, maybe something like that, and you can see that that's also changed, so we can see these are very, very different. So let's hit save, and there's actually a button over here that says view your store. So if you click that, that'll also take you through to your store, so you can see everything straight away. So to recap, primary font is going to be the sans serif font, and the secondary is going to be the one with all the serifs on it. So your primary font is going to be used on things like your headings. You can see there that this is the very simplified font. There's some more headings that's being used there and over there. And your secondary font is then for everything else. So things like your buttons, your description text, all the links up here. If we expand that, you'll see there it's being pulled through as well in its various places. And if we actually go through to a product description page, you'll see there the serif font is being used for the descriptions here and the tags as well. So that's basically how you would change those fonts up. And just to show you that again, I'm actually going to switch them around. So I actually want to use the serify font for the headings as the primary, so I'm just going to choose Merriweather for that, and let's change this one to, let's say, Noto Sans for the secondary. We'll hit save, and let's go back to our store and see those changes in action. Okay, so our breadcrumbs and our buttons are back to the simplified font, as well as our descriptions, but now our headings are starting to use the more interesting font, and you'll see that quite nicely on the homepage, where the title's actually using the more interesting font now as well. So that's basically it. A very, very straightforward and simple episode on the store design section. I hope this made sense and was easy to follow. As always, comments and questions in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.